Free to be you. Live, work, play, sleep, allergy-free with ALLERGEX non-drowsy.
Thank you so much, T. Of course, it is time to get back into the magic, and as the temperatures slowly start changing and the blossoms start to bloom, our allergies are unfortunately on high alert. Now, there are many kinds of allergies, from seasonal and food allergies to pets, dust, and so much more. But luckily, with spring about to be sprung, there is one allergy you you can consider being sorted. Now, with all our allergies, we can find out exactly what they are, how we can manage them, and we've brought in a specialist. He is I believe the term is a functional medicine practitioner. He goes by the name of Dr. Grant Fourie, and I'm here to welcome him to the couch. Doc, how are you doing?
Thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Absolute pleasure. Just before we get into it, a functional medicine practitioner, what exactly is that?
So the big difference is we not only are interested in your symptoms, we're interested in the causes of the symptoms, and we want, if we can, not only treat what's wrong with you, but maybe stop the problem from happening in the first place.
Ah, I like that.
It's quite a big difference, especially with this kind of a topic with allergies. Something is causing your problem. And there's such great medicine around that makes you feel better that sometimes you forget that something is causing it. And then you just keep taking the medicine, you keep going into this
thing. It's like a Band-Aid.
Exactly,
we're
right.
not actually solving the problem.
We want to rip the Band-Aids and see what's under there.
We need more of you in the world for sure.
A lot of work to do.
Listen, let's talk about allergies exactly. I want to know, firstly, for anybody that's not even aware, what are the type of allergies that you get and how exactly are they actually treated?
So it's a super big topic, right, as you mentioned. So the most common one that's relevant at this time of the year is the seasonal allergy, because of the stuff that's in the air.
Yeah.
And so that's anything, dust, pollen, just driving here this morning, the sand blowing across the road. So anything in the air, smoke, paint, irritants, volatile compounds, things that irritate your nose. Some people are more sensitive to things than others. It seems to be something in our genetics. We don't really know why different people are allergic to different things, but it makes me sneeze, it makes my nose block up, it makes my eyes water, it makes my skin itch sometimes, it makes my lungs tighten up. And it can really be anything. It can be my cat, my dog. It can be dust on my cat and my dog. It can be the shampoo that I use to wash the dust off the cat and the dog. It can be the mite on the dog that I washed off that was in the dust on the...
I can see how deep this pool kind of can get.
It really is. So we sometimes use the word hypersensitivity rather than allergy, because you can be sensitive to food, which is not necessarily an allergy. You can be sensitive to peanuts. You can be sensitive to dust. Sometimes you can just be sensitive to the amount of stuff that's in your face. So all of us, if we go into a field of pollen, we're eventually going to start feeling like a bit overwhelmed by that. So if there's too much smoke and feel overwhelmed by it, our eyes are going to water. So it's sort of at the point that you react that makes you allergic. So the guy who's the unlucky guy, he wakes up in the morning and he's already got all these symptoms of allergy.
So that guy essentially, does he have an actual allergy, or is he just kind of responding to a one-off situation? And how do you know that? I mean, you mentioned some of these triggers now. You mentioned how a mite can be a trigger. You mentioned how we have all these different examples of dust, of pollen, etc. But when it comes to those triggers, how do you know that that trigger is actually resulting in an allergy?
So that is a super good question. Firstly, if the guy's getting a thing every day and he's the only one in the family who's having a reaction that nobody else seems to be having, that's already a clue that there's something in the environment that's irritating him differently. He's not going to have a fever. He might look like he's getting flu all the time, but it never kind of becomes anything. If he wants to know, is this something in my house, there are lots of tests we can do. So we've got blood tests we can do, we've got skin prick tests we can do, very clever. And we can test hundreds of allergies now. So there's no reason anymore to actually have to guess. But the truth is, for the common stuff, most of us are pretty sort of... you know, by the time you've had your symptoms for a few weeks and you've lived a couple of years, you know, oh, it's that time of the year again, and it's happening again.
The pattern starts to make sense.
It is amazing how few people actually know what's causing their allergy. They just know they have hay fever, they have a seasonal allergy, they take a tablet, they feel better. And actually, a lot of people don't even bother to answer the question of what exactly is it.
Don't dive deeper.
No.
Let's answer that question right now, because when it comes to allergies, I know some people, it's okay, some people really struggle individual, how and what is the best way to actually manage those allergies? What can we do about it?
So living on the moon is great. It's really super popular, but I see they just cancelled the flight
They just
this
cancelled
morning.
the last flight with
so
NASA,
there's
yeah.
those 6 people.
So what are we left
so,
with?
No, right. So for the rest of us, we have to take the antihistamines.
Okay.
Work great. So if I can remove the person from the allergy, it's always my first choice. If I can remove the thing, like the dog, but I mean, you can just imagine how that conversation goes. Is
that's
your
what happened
loving,
in my
your
house.
loved pet, good luck getting rid of that.
Yeah.
So at least don't let the thing be on your pillow and in your bed. You know, so have it a little bit away from you. Maybe not even in your room. You get things that purify the air, that keep that dander and that dust out of the air, just to give you a fighting chance. Then you can take tablets that just sort of we talk about moderate or reduce the actual reaction that your body has to the thing that you're allergic to, so you can at least breathe and sleep and not have the symptoms all the time. You know, the tissues all over the house, and I mean, it's hard if you haven't got a bra. Where do you keep those things all the time?
Well, look,
real
Doc,
world problems.
I'm really enjoying this conversation and realizing a little bit more about what allergies are, some of the solutions that we can have to try assist that, and also reduce some of those symptoms that you've explained. Definitely been educated on this, and always a pleasure having you on the couch. And for you, Mzansi, after all that expert advice, I mean, spring is around the corner, but spring no longer needs to feel as daunting for those with allergies. So remember, September is National Pharmacy Month, and it's a period of creating awareness on how pharmacy professionals can help enrich the health of communities. I absolutely love it. So you can support your local pharmacy, and they literally are like a pillar for our communities. And this is all brought to you by ALLERGEX Non-Drowsy in proud association with Adcock Ingram, OTC sponsors of Brave. And with that conversation with the doc here, I think we kind of got spring back when it comes to our spring. We're going to spring through spring. Just doc, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We've been long in the game, healing South Africa one allergy at a time. All the sneezing, runny nose, itching of nose and throat. We've left no stone unturned until finally South Africa recognized us. You've given us the courage to continue to do what we do best. Live, work, play, sleep allergy-free with ALLERGEX Non-Drowsy. Ask your pharmacist for the full allergy range. Brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.